This morning at Riverbend Prison, the State Department of Correction executed Tennessee death row inmate Byron Black. This after a controversial couple of weeks leading up to his execution. While family members of the victims, Angela Clay and her two daughters, Latoya and Lakeisha, thanked God for this day, Black's attorneys called the act unconstitutional, saying he had an intellectual disability. His legal team also took issue with the heart monitor implant device that remained on during the execution. They had called on the state, even the U.S. Supreme Court, to intervene. At 10 this morning, 7 journalists served as media witnesses to this. One of them was our Nikki Hauser, and she is here to kind of go through what it was like.
Right. I mean, in that room, Rory, one of the most notable things were the indications, really, that we saw of discomfort and distress from Black. It was really hard to ignore. So those signs and his last words that he uttered, it really seemed to convey that he was in some amount, at least, of pain.
Okay.
At his 10 a.m. execution Tuesday, Byron Black had no official last words.
He was asked for his last words, and he responded, "No, sir."
But I and other media witnesses in the room heard his actual last words that seemed to indicate he was in discomfort or distress.
At one point, he does lift up and he says, "I can't do this." Maybe whispers, but it was audible. There was a beat, and then he said something along the lines of, "It hurts so bad."
He made the comment that it was hurting so bad. That was audible. His spiritual advisor replied, "I'm so sorry, just listen to my voice."
During the 10-minute viewing of his execution, we also saw him pick up his head multiple times to sigh or moan.
He was letting a lot of sighs like this.
A number of times, I would say at least 3 or 4, Byron Black picked his head up, kind of looked around, moved his head around a little bit. He exhaled deeply.
At his side the whole time was a spiritual advisor who prayed throughout and at times touched his cheek.
She was praying for his soul. She continued praying for all of the victims.
After several minutes, Byron Black stopped moving, and a rock was placed inside the room to indicate the drug had been fully administered. Those who witnessed the death of Oscar Franklin Smith, the last inmate to die in May, say Byron Black's execution was a very different experience.
Oscar Franklin Smith wasn't panting or sighing or making any of these kinds of sounds that Byron Black did during his execution today.
And you know, something that was interesting was right after the execution happened, the group of us, the media witnesses, just came together and for 5 minutes talked about what we saw. And I'm not sure how often that happens. We just wanted to make sure, you know, was this what you heard? Yes, it's what I heard. And something we did unanimously agree on was the words that he was saying. Something, it hurts so bad, and all of us heard and then saw those signs that were described.
Leading up to this, there was much made about him having that heart defibrillator and whether that would shock him to restore his rhythm.
Right.
Any indication that happened?
There was nothing major that could show that. Again, I could only speak to what I saw, those gestures, the head movement, and the words that he was telling or that he was saying out loud. But we do know that they're going to be looking at the printout of his heart monitor. So hopefully that will give us some answers.
His lawyer said they would subpoena that today. So
exactly.
And all in all, the process goes pretty quickly, you know.
It was about a 10-minute viewing period. So
not a lot of time.
Very quick, but very heavy.
Yeah. Nikki, thank you.
Of course.
You know, after Black's execution, we had the chance to hear from a family member of the victims. Nicole Davis says the murders of her cousin Angela and Angela's daughters, little Latoya and Lakeisha, has greatly impacted her life.
When this crime occurred, I was 13 going to the 7th grade. I'm 51, now standing in front of you guys, and I've been paying my taxes to keep this scum alive this whole time. So how does it affect me? It affects me a lot.
And we have more of those interviews, of course, online at newschannel5.com.
Yeah.
And that family was there. They showed up, a lot of them. And then we also know that Byron Black's family, some of those members, were in the protest outside of the jail as well.
Thanks, Nikki. Appreciate it.